Hello friends, I welcome you all. This is the second video for the subject microwave engineering. In the previous video, we have gone through the understanding of what exactly the microwave mean, and further we have addressed the topic microwave frequencies. Now let us have introduction to various microwave devices that are working either for microwave energy generation or the amplification. So let us begin with the topic. So here we start with our topic microwave devices. So basically the devices are either for the purpose of the very important, that is generation of the signal. If the signal is not there, it cannot carry the information with it, and we can have the further engineering to it. So very first of all, it is very important to generate a signal. So such type of devices are actually called as active devices. So here we are taking one example from our subject microwave engineering. Onto the left hand side of the diagram, you can see a microwave generator. So the microwave generator is basically the oscillator. Most of the time we take the gun oscillator or the reflex klystron. These particular devices you shall be introduced into the subsequent videos of our subject. And after the signal is generated by the oscillator, it is further carried through the isolator, the rectangular waveguide in the form of slotted line, and then the parameters can be measured. With respect to the power, we shall be having a power meter. For the measurement of VSWR, there it will be a VSWR meter or simply a frequency meter into the microwave bench here. So the basic intention of the devices is first of all to generate a signal. The next very important objective of the devices is to amplify the signal. Most of the time, whatever the signal we receive at the receiving end, after it has traveled a long journey, so the signal strength is quite weak. So to get it at acceptable level, we apply the amplification process. So the amplification of the signal is very important. In the diagram you can see the device that is applied to the low level signal, the low amplitude level signal. The device is simply called as amplifier, and after working onto this particular input signal, we obtain the output signal with higher amplitude levels. So it can be further processed for the application use. Now there can be some another processing of the signal also. So the same kind of devices can be having a different categorization based on to the work they are performing there. So after understanding what exactly the generation of the signal is, how much important, and then the amplification process, there may be several devices based on to the different kind of processings. The categorization can be there, but very importantly we require amplifiers and oscillators. The conversion from the two can be with attaching a simple feedback loop. So we can have the achievement of oscillators as well as the amplifiers. Nowadays a very popular platform for the electronic devices is semiconductor devices. So based on to the semiconductor materials, the electron is the basic charge carrier entity, and along with the holes, actually the processing of that particular devices is carried out. The various examples you can, so in this diagram mostly you can see the passive devices, right from resistor, diode, the operational amplifier, the ICs you can see here, the transistor is also made available. So this is one platform on which the various electronic devices can work. The very popular device, that is actually the PN junction diode. So having the p-type semiconductor material onto the one side, n-type semiconductor material onto the another side, in between there it is a junction, and applying either a forward bias, reverse bias, the operation of the diode is taken place. The accompanying diagram shows you the characteristics of the diode into the forward and reverse bias conditions. Next to that, here we have a semiconductor transistor. As in the diode, it was the case to have the two type of semiconductor material having a junction. Here we have two types of junction. The first type of material, either you can have p-type or n-type also. then the another type of material, and then the previous type of material. So this way we can have the three regions into this transistor. So it is emitter, base, and collector. So here also it requires proper type of biasing for the junctions of two types in this particular transistor. So the various transistor applications are very well known. In the accompanying diagram you see here the characteristic for the common base mode. So here the potential applied at the two terminals of this transistor versus how much current is achieved, that is graphically plotted here in this particular diagram for the various values of the constant base current. Now, as we all see here the semiconductor devices with whatever the devices of daily use we work with, but before having the inventions into the semiconductor technology, it was the vacuum tube devices working for the same kind of applications. Some drawbacks were there with the vacuum tube applications, that they were not so handy. The power consumption was also required at high levels. So because of that, the semiconductor technology has proved the advantages and it was surpassed. But now still for the microwave engineering, the vacuum tube platform is beneficial. So we just have a recap of what exactly the vacuum tube devices are there. So in the accompanying diagram you can see the various type of vacuum tube devices here. So actually inside the glass case here, there it is a vacuum and the terminals are there. Either we generally have the anode and cathode. So cathode is generally the terminal that focuses the electron beam towards the anode. So cathode is generally having a negative potential and anode is having a positive potential. So based on to the path of the electron and how it travels from the cathode to the anode, along with if there is a need of some another terminals also like the grid terminal, the working of the diode, transistor and further operations were carried based on to the vacuum tube. So this was another family. So very first example we have here for comparison purpose, that is vacuum tube diode. So vacuum tube diode file picture you have here onto the left hand side, and now you can see here the symbolic representation of the vacuum tube diode is there, that is applied into a simple circuitry here. So here you can find the cathode that is applied with the negative terminal, whereas anode is applied with the positive terminal. In the diagram you can see the electrons that are getting ejected from the cathode terminal and they are having their journey towards the anode terminal. So because of the journey of the electrons from cathode to anode, there it will be a development of current into this vacuum tube diode. Now if we have one more terminal increased into the diode, it is also referred to as vacuum tube triode. So triode refers three electrodes here, the three terminals to the device. So the anode, which is also known to be the plate, the cathode, that is the heating element it is having. So along with that, here we have one grid here. So again the vacuum tube triode here we have in the circuit also, where cathode is negatively terminated, the anode is provided with the positive charge, and there is some alternative supply given with respect to the grid and that of the cathode. So whatever the working of the semiconductor transistor it is there, that was first of all made possible with the help of vacuum tube triode. So this is the simple file picture and its corresponding circuit. Now if we are going to have one more terminal of grid, so here the two types of grids you can see here. So along with cathode and the anode there are two grids. The grids are named as control grid and that of the screen grid. So with the count here we have the total 4 terminals to this particular device here, or the 4 electrodes here. Hence the name of the vacuum tube is vacuum tube tetrode. So up till now we have seen that the 2 terminal device into the vacuum tube, it was vacuum tube diode. The 3 terminal device vacuum tube triode, the 4 terminal device that is vacuum tube tetrode, and if we have 5 terminals, the 5 electrodes, we have vacuum tube pentode. So along with the control grid and screen grid, here we have the 5th electrode, 5th terminal here, that is for the purpose of suppress. So it is a suppressor to the electron flow from the cathode to that of the anode. So here we call the device vacuum tube pentode. So this way we can have the different types of devices based on to the vacuum tube platform. Now let us see what is the effect of working of these vacuum tube devices if the high frequency signal is used. So the attempt was made nearly in 1930s. So if the vacuum tube devices as it is without any modification were used for high frequency signal, so that time the limitations in terms of lead inductance effect, inter-electrode capacitance effect and transit time effect were seen, so which are not desirous. So because of that, the modifications were very essential into the original vacuum tube devices. Now if we talk simply with the lead inductance effect, so whatever the electrode pins are there to the devices that just now we have seen, either it is diode, triode, tetrode, pentode, so the output has been given to the certain another device there. So whatever it is generated, it should be total given to the another device. But if you go with higher amount of frequency, we know that whatever the electrode inductance is there, so here we have the reactive inductance formula given as XL is equal to 2 pi FL. So if you increase the frequency, it is directly proportional to the reactive inductance, hence the reactive inductance is also increased. So it is a type of impedance. It is actually the impedance is opposition to the flow of current, so this is not desirous. So whatever the output is generated at the base pin, it is not 100% given to the another device. There is a drop, there is a loss into the gain, so this is called as a lead inductance effect. Another case that we see in terms of inter-electrode capacitance effect. So if you take the case of triode, so it has 3 terminals, that is having cathode, anode and the grid here. So between the anode and cathode there is capacitance that we can simply write C suffix P and K here. So P for the plate representing the anode and K for the cathode here. So if you increase the frequency, what is the effect onto the reactive capacitance? For reactive capacitance we have the formula Xc is equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc. So if you increase the frequency, it has the inverse relation, so that time Xc will be reduced. So whatever the impedance between the two different electrodes is there, that is going to decrease. So at higher frequencies it is a chance that these two terminals get shorted. We always want the cathode to be maintained at high negative potential so that it will generate higher amount of electrons. Those will be traveling towards the higher potential of positive polarity anode there. But if there it is the shorting of the two terminals, that is affecting the entire operation of the device, so the inter-electrode capacitance effect is also undesired. So this is all can be described with the help of the two graphs that are relating the frequency and that of the reactive impedances of inductance as well as the capacitance. So whatever we have discussed for inter-electrode capacitance effect, the circuit implementation that is showing the capacitances between the 3 types of the electrodes here for the vacuum tube triode, you can see here the capacitances have been mentioned as CPG, CGK and CPK. So for the plate representing the P, cathode represented by the symbol K and the grid represented by small g here you can see in the diagram. Also for the lead inductance effect, in the diagram you can see L1 and L2 to be the inductances between the base pin of the device and the electrode pin where we can connect another device. So because of these particular limitations, there it was a necessary modification into the vacuum tube's original. So there it was some modifications drawn by some scientists that we can address here, and then the vacuum tubes were said to be working on to the microwave platform, hence the microwave tubes. So let us see. So it was the year 1935 when first of all the attempt was made to have a modification into the original vacuum tubes. So here it was the point made into the focus that we should be having a modification for the transit time of the devices. Transit time is actually the time taken by the charge carrier to flow from one terminal to another terminal. In the diagram you see here, there it is vacuum tube diode, and the electrons are shown here that are moving from cathode terminal to that of the anode terminal. So if the size of the device is big, so in that case the electron has to travel a longer distance. If the size of the vacuum tube diode is small, so in that case it has to travel a smaller distance. So you can see that the transit time is getting changed, but the operation is same. So working with the transit time, there have been modifications that started from the year 1935. So followed in the year 1939, the term it was introduced that working with the transit time of the charge carrier, that is basically the electron, there should be a velocity modulation. So here velocity modulation refers to the speed of the electron. So either the speed of the electron will be increased. So in the terms of velocity, actually we can say that the electron will be accelerated, or if the speed is decreased, we can say that the electron it is decelerated. So basically you must be very well familiar with the modulation term with respect to the communication. So where the amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, or some kind of digital modulation is there. There were the two signals, the carrier signal with high frequency and the constant amplitude, and with respect to the changes of amplitude of the modulating signal, that is exactly carrying the information, there used to be changes into the carrier signal for the output. So there it was amplitude modulated signal. So here with respect to the input signal of microwave type, if the electron velocity is getting changed, so that is we are saying velocity modulation, and with respect to the velocity modulation we can achieve the amplification and then the oscillation also. So the amplification of the signal or basic generation of the microwave signal is made possible with the help of velocity modulation. So velocity modulation is very important as far as the operation of the microwave devices based on to the vacuum tube platform is concerned. So here for example in the figure you can see that in the diagram RF in is mentioned there, where the signal to be amplified is applied. So this is basically the microwave tube here, and whatever the RF signal is applied to the RF in, so it is getting the velocity modulation inside the vacuum tube here. So electron is either accelerated or decelerated. So finally in between the journey there are the electron bunches produced into the vacuum tube, and finally the place from where the output is taken, these electron bunches are giving up the energy. So the energy is with the form of amplified microwave signal. So the very first invention in the microwave tubes to use the microwave velocity modulation principle, there it was for the two cavity klystron amplifier. So klystron amplifier was invented by R.H. Varian and S.F. Varian here. So this is a very great achievement, and it is a part of our second chapter, the microwave linear beam type tubes, that is of O type. So the details we can see there. The accompanying diagram is of the two cavity klystron amplifier. There is another microwave tube that is also working on to the principle of velocity modulation. The resonant cavities have been used in the working of the two cavity klystron amplifier. Here there it is a helix and a slow wave structure that is working with the help of velocity modulation, and the microwave tube is known as the traveling wave tube, abbreviated as TWT. So this is the file picture of the traveling wave tube, TWT. Now these were the selected microwave devices working onto the vacuum tube platform. Onto the semiconductor platform we can have the gun oscillator. So it is basically a gun diode, and the accompanying diagram shows us a graph here. So in this graph, with the increase into the voltage applied to the substrate of this gun diode, there it is increase into the current, it achieves a maximum level, and after that there is a great drop down. So right from the peak we go to the valley point here, and from the valley point again there is a gradual increase into the current here. So this particular drop down curve, so here we are having a focus onto the relationship of the voltage applied to that of the current. So if voltage applied is increasing, the current is also increasing. So in that case we can say that it is a positive resistance type of curve achieved. So that is having a direct proportion. But when the voltage applied is increasing but the current produced is decreasing, we say that it is negative resistance. So when there it is a positive resistance curve, we generally say that the device is absorbing the energy, and when the device is offering a negative resistance, it is dissipating the energy. So it is actually generating a microwave signal there. So based on to the principle of negative resistance, the semiconductor platform devices also generates. So these are generally termed as microwave solid state devices. The very first example we have shown here, that is gun oscillator. For the gun oscillator, that is actually having a shift from low energy level to that of the high energy level. So this particular model is given as RWH theory model. So Ridley, Watkins and Helium. It is also known to be the two valley model. So the lower energy valley and higher energy valley you can see in the diagram, and because of the applied field there it is a shift. So this particular device we shall be learning with the transferred electron devices. So this was the introduction to various microwave devices. By the next lecture, we shall be introducing you people how exactly the microwave system look like, and the different components, different parts into that microwave system, and how the application can be achieved. So it will be the introductory one. I hope you like these videos. So for more information, you can subscribe to Ekeeda channel. Thank you.